Princess Zara of the Catharian Empire had long accepted her fate. Born into one of the galaxy's most powerful royal families, she possessed all the markers of nobility: crystalline blue skin that shimmered like starlight, telepathic abilities that could influence minds across star systems, and intellect that surpassed most galactic scholars. Yet none of it mattered. The hover chair that had been her constant companion since the neural plague struck her at age 12 made her worthless in the eyes of potential suitors. The Catharian court whispered behind ornate fans and diplomatic smiles. No alien species wanted a broken princess. The proud Centaurians, with their obsession with physical perfection, had withdrawn their marriage proposal within hours of learning about her condition. The militaristic Drakmori cited genetic concerns about weakened bloodlines. Even the supposedly enlightened ethereals, beings of pure energy, deemed her neural pathways too damaged for their hybrid offspring. Emperor Valdris, her father, grew desperate. Political alliances through marriage were the backbone of galactic diplomacy, and Zara was his only daughter. The Empire needed these connections to maintain its position against the rising threat of the Void Collective. That's when Captain Marcus Chen of the Terran Federation arrived. Humans were still considered a minor species, bipedal creatures from a backwater planet who had barely achieved interstellar travel 50 years prior. They were tolerated in galactic politics mainly because they made excellent engineers and had an unsettling talent for warfare. Most aliens viewed them as useful but ultimately insignificant. Marcus stood barely 6 feet tall, unremarkable by galactic standards. His dark hair was peppered with gray, and laugh lines creased his weathered face. When he was presented to the court as a potential suitor, the assembled nobles barely concealed their amusement. "Your Majesty," Marcus said, offering a surprisingly graceful bow to Zara. "I'm honored to meet you." What surprised everyone, including Zara, was that he looked directly into her eyes when he spoke, not at the hover chair, not at her useless legs, just her eyes. The courtship was brief. Marcus asked intelligent questions about her research in quantum mechanics, discussed her poetry with genuine appreciation, and never once mentioned her disability. When he proposed, he did so in the palace gardens, speaking to her as an equal rather than a political prize. The wedding was a modest affair by galactic standards. Most alien dignitaries attended out of curiosity rather than respect, wondering what the strange humans saw in the defective princess. It wasn't until the Void Collective launched their assault 6 months later that everyone understood. The attack came without warning. Massive bioships emerged from hyperspace, their living hulls bristling with weapons that seemed to bend reality itself. The Void Collective had spent centuries conquering species after species, absorbing their technology and knowledge into their hive mind. Now they had come for the Catharian Empire. The first wave decimated the outer colonies. Traditional weapons proved useless against the Collective's adaptive bioarmor. Telepathic attacks were absorbed and turned back on their users. The mighty Catharian fleet, which had maintained peace for 3 centuries, found itself outmatched and overwhelmed. As refugee ships poured into the capital system, panic gripped the court. Emperor Valdris called emergency sessions with his military advisors, but every strategy they proposed had already been tried and failed by conquered civilizations. That's when Princess Zara made her move. "Father," she said, gliding into the war room in her hover chair, Marcus walking beside her. "I have a solution." The assembled generals looked skeptical. What could the paralyzed princess offer that their tactical computers couldn't calculate? "The Void Collective operates on a hive mind principle," Zara explained, her fingers dancing across a holographic display. "They've grown strong by assimilating the knowledge and strengths of conquered species, but they've never encountered anything like this." She gestured, and the display showed complex mathematical equations that hurt to look at directly. "For the past year, I've been working with Marcus on something unprecedented. Human neural architecture is chaotic, unpredictable, nothing like the ordered thought patterns of other species. But my damaged neural pathways? They're even more chaotic. Together, we've created something the collective cannot absorb or understand." Marcus stepped forward, his hand resting gently on Zara's shoulder. Humans have a saying, "It's not a bug, it's a feature." Your daughter's condition isn't a weakness, it's the key to victory. What they had developed was revolutionary, a hybrid consciousness that combined Zara's damaged but brilliant telepathic abilities with Marcus's inherently chaotic human thought patterns. Together they had created a mental virus, a pattern of thought so alien and incomprehensible that it would cause the Void Collective's hive mind to tear itself apart, trying to process it. The plan was elegant in its simplicity. Zara would project the hybrid consciousness directly into the Collective's command ship, using her telepathic abilities amplified by quantum resonance fields. Marcus would serve as the anchor, his human mind providing the chaotic foundation that made the virus impossible to categorize or contain. "It's dangerous," Zara admitted to her father. "The neural feedback could kill us both." Emperor Valdris looked at his daughter, really looked at her for perhaps the first time since her diagnosis. He saw not a broken princess but a brilliant scientist who had turned her greatest perceived weakness into the Empire's salvation. "Do it," he said quietly. The battle that followed lasted exactly 17 minutes. As the Collective's bioships closed in on the capital world, Zara and Marcus linked their minds in ways that defied every known law of telepathy. The hybrid consciousness they created was beautiful and terrible, a swirling maelstrom of human unpredictability and Catharian power, shaped by neural pathways that had been rewired by trauma into something entirely new. When the virus hit the Collective's hive mind, the effect was instantaneous. The bioships began attacking each other, their shared consciousness fragmenting into millions of contradictory impulses. Within minutes, the greatest threat the galaxy had ever known had consumed itself from within. In the aftermath, as grateful species across the galaxy hailed the human-Catharian alliance, Zara smiled at her husband. No alien wanted the paralyzed princess, she said, her fingers intertwined with his. Marcus smiled back. "Good thing I'm human, then. We've never been very good at following everyone else's rules. The princess who had been deemed worthless had saved the galaxy, and the human who had been called insignificant had helped her do it. Together, they had proven that sometimes the greatest strength comes from what others perceive as weakness, and that humanity's chaotic, unpredictable nature might just be exactly what the universe needs."